Numero tres. B.O.K podcast with the boys. What's going on? What's going on?
Oh, not much.
Yeah, just woke up about hour and a half ago. Eating some
Just
Remind
woke
us
up?
what time it is over there.
Huh?
Remind us what time it is over there.
As of right now, let's see, 1:06 p.m.
And you woke up how long ago?
God damn.
About an hour and a half, so say 11:30 a.m.
Oh, it's not terrible. That's not terrible. Never mind.
Went to bed at about 2 a.m. 8.5 hours, not bad. 9.5 hours, perfect amount.
Perfect amount. Good
Yep.
to go. How's it going over in Turk, Dave?
It's going, man. Same old, same old.
Yeah.
I got some pre-workout for one of the workers at the DFAC the other day.
Ooh, some foreign free workout.
Yeah.
They get that
No,
special
so
shit in there?
I wish. No, so it's like it's weird, man. I guess off base here, or just like in Turkey, like you can get creatine and BCAAs, but you can't get pre-workout. And the workers can't like buy it here. So it kind of is like, I'll get you stuff off base if you can like get me this on base. So kind of have like a little arrangement.
Interesting. This is the dude
Yeah,
That sounds semi-illegal for some reason.
right? It sounds bad. I was kind of questioning it, but I guess we'll find out.
This is the dude that you don't know how to pronounce his name, so you just
No,
call
this
him.
is this is this is a different guy.
Oh, you just
Uh,
got more than one.
yeah,
Got a
yeah.
got an
Making
organization
connections.
going. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
but yeah, I know this guy's name. I don't know if I should say it on here,
No,
but
And
probably
he's
not.
pretty cool too. Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Oh, dude, Dave, have you been to one of those like touristy ice cream places where like they make you hold the cone and they fuck with you while they're like trying to put the
Not
ice cream
yet,
on?
man. I haven't got to go off base yet, but I'm trying to.
Oh, okay.
It's either next week or the week after. That I forget the name of it, but there's a city out here that's it's a couple hours away, and it's like a 2 day trip. It's like an overnight trip, and they do like hot air balloons or whatever. It's like a festival kind of thing. I'm trying to go to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
When
but
when
it'll
are
actually be
you
like
allowed? Are you allowed to go off base? Do they give you time to go, or does it be like a?
it has to be like an organized thing. Like I couldn't just take leave
Yeah,
and
you
go off
couldn't go
base
by
and do like
yourself.
whatever I wanted. There's like
You
a
can go
program.
AWOL, bro. Fuck them.
Uh, I'm not saying I would. But yeah, man. If if I could take the time and go off base, like the uh the other guy that I've been talking to here, like he offered if I ever had the chance to like show me around and kind of give me a tour of like local Turkey of Adana. Um,
That'd be awesome.
yeah,
Turkey.
What is
yeah,
it? So
yeah.
what's over in Turkey? Is there anything like historical? This might sound like a
No, so
ignorant question, but is there anything like historical? Is there anything like we're seeing that you're like, I need to go see that? Like any like historical buildings, historical like areas, that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna give you an ignorant answer. I'm pretty sure, but I
Ah,
couldn't tell you.
ah.
Um,
Should ask
there,
your
there's
informant. Should ask your
there's
informant.
there's a lot of mosques here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of big, like churches with the big dome thing and
Mhm.
the point on top. I see a lot of
Yeah.
those while we're like flying out. In the little cafe here, they have a thing on the wall that's talks about like kind of the area of Turkey we're in that like there's been civilization here since like something BC. I know there's kind of in the area there's a lot of I guess kind of religious stuff. I think we're somewhat close to the Euphrates River.
Huh?
I have
Uh,
no idea what that is. What is that?
It's a fucking river.
Yeah, no shit. What is
uh,
the significance of this river?
yeah, I couldn't give you much
Brought
detail
life
on
to the
it.
land?
I know it's
Religion.
Ah,
like I think it's brought like I know it's brought up in the Bible. Um, but I couldn't tell you much past that.
mm,
I'm gonna look it up right now. Just
yeah.
so
Let's
I
say,
can.
weren't you a Bible boy when you were younger?
Dave is a Bible boy.
I went to church. Yes,
Ah,
I went to church.
I don't like the sound of that.
Bible boy?
Bible, I don't like that.
I think it's
Bible
funny.
thumper. Get off my porch, you Jesus loving.
What?
It's all right. He's a Christian. He can say that.
Right. Yes. Anywho,
No.
um, fucking.
Oh, you low.
Lost my train of thought.
No,
What's up?
how's the so you applied, have you applied for your graduate school yet?
No, I'm waiting to hear back about getting a couple letters of recommendation.
Okay. How many do you need again?
Depending on the school, 2 or 3.
Yeah. And what, you got two
I have
in the
one
bag?
right now. I have one
I
right
thought
now.
your professor was gonna do one too.
I'm waiting to hear back from her.
Oh.
I asked one of my old professors, and he told me no, and I was really shocked because he liked me. I got an A in both of his classes. He remembered who I was, but his reasoning kind of made sense. But at the
What?
same time,
What was his reasoning?
he said that because he didn't know like my experience or my resume, and I never worked with him in like his lab or anything. He wasn't sure if he'd be able to write me a well enough letter, and I was just like, all right. But he's a little out of the ordinary in terms of like professor. Well, that was one of the reasons
How
I
so?
liked him. He he didn't do we like never had homework, okay? Our grade
Mhm.
was basically based off of 2 tests and a final.
Mhm.
And but like our final was like a paper. And we would have them for like our hour and a half classes or so, like hour 15, whatever, like the
Yeah.
longer class days. And then normally about like 45, 50 minutes in, he'd just be like, all right, is this good? Like, is this enough? You guys good for today?
What did you guys learn off of PowerPoint or something? Was it already like pre-constructed in the way that you could just kind of give the information, or was he like fucking freestyling off the dome talking about subjects?
Both. It was like he had a PowerPoint with like the bare basic points of what he wanted to make, and then he'd put in a lot of other stuff, like himself talking.
Hmm.
But also, he's from I think he was from somewhere in Russia or Azerbaijan, and his first so English wasn't his first language, but he still spoke it really well. But anytime he asked us like if we were good for like a class, he would always say, "How much is much enough?" And I loved it every time. But no, he's insanely smart, insanely smart. He was my professor for my concussion and athletics class and my psychology of sport injury class.
Mhm.
Two like those were two of my favorite classes. So, but yeah, I mean, he was a little unorthodox, but I like him. I think most everyone who takes his class, I feel like you either love him or hate him. I feel like there's not an in between.
Yeah.
So I loved him. And so I told him, I was like, hopefully, if I come back here for Penn State, like hopefully I can like get some time in your lab because he
Yeah.
studies like concussions and stuff. And I love that. Like,
Dude, concussions are fucking insane. The fact that
yes.
the
Yeah.
brain just like, well, what kind of trips me out is that we just don't have, like, we have information on concussions, but we don't have like, it's not like a exact science. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone's is different. Everyone's like snowflakes. Like you bash your head, I bash my head. I could get fucked up. You could be just fine. It's like, and the effects of it too, and the acts of
Yeah.
like messing with your emotions, messing with like your demeanor, messing with like, it's not just like oh, my head hurts. Like it could like mess you up. Like
That's
you could be a totally
concussion.
different person after a hard concussion, which is kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. And I mean, it takes a while. It's dependent upon every person and every concussion because, like you said, everyone's different.
Mm.
Like how long it takes for someone to recover from certain like minor concussions. Like you and someone could get like a very similar minor concussion,
Hmm.
and you could recover, 99% of your symptoms in like 3, 4 weeks. But the other person, it could take like 3, 4 months. Like it's crazy. And that was one of the things that like fascinated me most about it. And that was a lot of what he talked about. He was just like, as much as we know, we don't know anything because
Yeah.
there's still no one clear, concise theory as to how concussions even happen. Like whether it's lack of oxygen and nutrients to the brain
Mhm.
for certain parts, or whether it's damage to the tissues, or all like it's crazy. And there's so much like imaging and like techniques, or like however ways, the like diagnostics that you can test for concussion and test to see like improvements of concussion.
Mhm.
But then even then those aren't still like concrete. But one of the things that I found most like fascinating about that class was, even when your symptoms can seem like you feel 100% fine, if they can do like an fMRI of your brain, which is like a functional MRI, which sees like where the blood is going and where the oxygen is being
Is
taken
that
up.
like the black and white image, and it's showing like the pulsation of the like the vessels going through your brain and kind of stuff like that? And you could actually see the flow of where it's going. I might no.
No.
What's that one? Is that just a regular MRI?
Maybe, but the
I might be talking to
fMRI,
my ass, bro. I don't know. I see shit. I see images. That's about it.
an fMRI is like, I don't. It shows it in like, it's kind of like a heat map. Like it shows
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
more in the brain like oxygen is being used, which means where more blood flow is going to.
Hmm.
And so compared to like a baseline fMRI of like a non-concussed brain, like someone who like recently had a concussion, but says like they feel completely fine, their symptoms have gone away or whatever, it can show that like uh you might feel fine, like, but symptom resolution doesn't mean that they like, it does not equal injury resolution. Like you can still have damage to that neurological tissue,
Yeah.
and like, but you would feel fine, and so you go back to doing what you're doing, and then bam, maybe you get another concussion easier because you still weren't technically fully healed. And like
Mm.
that's one of the things is like, but even then, it's like, it's so mind blowing. Like it doesn't, it's so complex. Like as long as we've been studying it for, we still don't like, yes, we have concrete evidence and answers. Ooh, excuse me, to things, but we don't have all the answers for everything. Which, I mean, obviously we don't have all the answers for everything for anything in the world, but
Hmm.
like there's still so much we don't know about concussions, and that's kind of why I like it. It's like a giant puzzle.
It's like one of those unknown sciences that don't have an exact answer.
Yeah.
Well, think about it, David. What's your take on it? I know you're doing like psychology, and you guys are learning about the brain in your school. What are you thinking about?
Honestly, it's really similar. It's like the biggest thing that I've kind of noticed in this class is that a lot of the kind of like processes that psychologists like used to day one were like initially kind of discovered and like developed like a long ass time ago.
Mhm.
Like the kind of how we determine like people's personalities. Um, the the person who kind of like discovered that, or at least like first started to like kind of like develop it into like a thought.
Mhm.
Uh, that was back in like the 1800s, and then
Okay.
eventually he kind of had like disciples or like students that work out with him, and they came up with like three other ideas. Um, so like yeah, so like a lot of it was kind of developed like a long ass time ago, and we're still trying to develop it like 200 years later. Um, but also like kind of like Logan is saying, like nothing's exact, or like you don't know anything like for sure. Because I mean, in the beginning of the class, it was talking about like different ways to scan the brain, either like with the MRI or fMRI or a CAT scan or like EEG or like any of that shit.
Hmm.
Um, I guess the EEG was kind of like the best way because like it's a, you think of it like a thinking cap almost, like it's a whole bunch of like electrodes or whatever they put all over your brain, and they
Yep.
scan the electrical like impulses or whatever, so like they can test you on something or like show you a picture or whatever, and like kind of use that to determine like what area of the brain is kind of functioning when you see something or like what you're thinking.
So, is that the
Uh,
thing where they have it on your head, and then they'll show you an image or something, or they'll be like, okay, well, think about this, think about being mad, think about being happy, or they'll play you like a reel of like certain things that might frighten you, might make you sad, make you happy,
yeah,
and it shows a video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They'll be like, oh, how does that make you feel? And
yeah,
then they'll be
okay,
like, oh, that
yeah,
made me really mad or something. And then they'd look at the EEG corresponding to that time frame and be like, okay, so this was being activated during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like there's like a lot of ways to kind of like figure out things, but still in like all like modern psychology or like social psych or like clinical psychology or whatever, like all of it is kind of like this is the idea and like this is roughly how things work.
Hmm.
But you can have to like kind of use some of this, kind of use some of this, like that there's nothing set in stone. Like everything kind of like works together to try and like make up an idea of something that works. But that's kind of why like the like therapist doesn't like not that it doesn't work for everybody, but like not every therapist works for every person. It's kind
Hmm.
of like shopping for a car or whatever. Like one feels kind of right, but like the next one's even better. It just suits you that much more.
Hmm.
Because like
Yeah.
nothing's exact. So like a lot of it's kind of like people's take on what like all the information that they learned is, and then kind of like how they kind of express it to that person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything's kind of like it's all kind of similar but different. Like there's no exact way of like, oh, this is what you're feeling, this is what we're gonna do, and this is gonna fix it.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah,
I read somewhere where it was talking about how, like, if you look at math, like it's an exact science, like in all like situations, 2 plus 2 is going to equal 4, no matter what. 2 plus 2 is going to equal 4. When it comes to like activity in the brain, psychology, even like understanding why people do what they do, like it's not an exact science whatsoever. So it's so weird to me to think that we're all so similar, but we're all so different at the exact same time. And the reactions that things happen to us, or our reaction to things that happen to us, are it's just crazy to think about. I don't know. Wild.
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool like how different everything is, but like how many similarities there are too.
Well,
Because
that's what I'm
there's a lot of
talking
things
about.
that like,
That's what I
yeah,
mean. Like, why is there's so many similarities between us, but at the same time, like fine details are so much different. Like
yeah,
you're allergic to this. I'm not allergic to this. You have a more you're more prone to this disease. I'm not. You like genetically, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's one of the things. I think that's one of the things that I liked most about learning about like that concussion class because all like psychology is always interested in me, you
Hmm.
know, but not enough to where I'm like, yeah, I want to do this for like a living. There
Hmm.
was a point where I was like, maybe I could be like a sports psychologist, and then I looked into it more, and I
That'd
was
be
like, oh, I
interesting.
have to get a PhD in psychology, and I should have gotten my undergrad in psychology. I'm just like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm good. Like I was
We're
like, nah, whatever.
I don't know, to work in that field, like what David's doing right now, you got to be dedicated. Like
yeah. Dude, I
you,
was, I was I was actually looking into it last night, honestly, for kind of for the first time.
yeah, I fucking told you, dude. I told you
Yeah,
you got to look into
I'm
that
still
shit.
I'm still dedicated to it,
No,
but
I
like,
know, I know,
yeah,
I
man,
know, I
it's a
know.
lot.
Yeah,
So yeah, so like you have to get like your undergrad in psychology, like psychology related field to even kind of like get picked up for like a graduate's program or for your major or whatever. And then to
yeah.
do anything, you either have to have like at least a master's, but like you really need a PhD or like a doctorate to like really do anything. And then even then, you have to kind of like apprentice and do clinicals and like get kind of the average of what I was saying. It might be the standard. I'm not sure. It's like 3,000 hours of kind of like actual clinical like practice and like working with clients.
Does that include
And
the
then
PhD? Does that include the PhD?
They're different courses, meaning that
like
you have
so
to
in
take different like avenues if you're going to get your master's, if you're going to get your PhD. They're not the same. Like,
Well, no shit. And I
yeah,
know
so
the
like
difference
you would
between a
only
master's
hey,
and
do
a
shit. Why'd you
PhD
ask the question then?
yeah no
because
so like
that's not what he's
you
saying.
yeah so you
What are you
would
trying to
only
say?
do the clinicals if you're trying to like go work as a psychologist, right? Like I mean you can get a master's or get a PhD and like not work with people at all. You'll just have the degree, but to do anything with it and like be licensed, it's really like for the licensing you have to have like so many hours, like 3,000 hours or whatever, of like actually working with people. And then you have to go get your licensing. And that kind of varies depending on the state that you're in also. And then even after that, there's like, you have to do continued education while you're a licensed like practitioner of like psychology, like in therapy or counseling or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I was asking was you were saying how those 3,000 hours or whatever, right? Of like hands-on, like you know what I'm saying, like working with
Yeah.
clients or whatever. When you're doing your PhD, obviously you're doing some sort of research, which is in a sense kind of hands-on. Like you're doing research, you're working with clients, you're figuring stuff out. Does that factor into the 3,000 hours? Or do you it's okay if you don't know, because obviously you said
Yeah.
you can do it last night. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
But like I would
Honestly, I'm not sure because like I I don't know if it would count as the same because like I think if you're doing it for school, like it seems almost more like a graduation requirement kind of thing for the degree. And then like, but I don't know if for the licensing if they would also count that time too.
well, yeah, I'm not talking about like doing it for the school, but I mean I'm assuming they would overlap in a way. But
I would think so, but I really don't know.
but yeah, because
It
I would
seems
think
like
that
they
I would think that would be ridiculous because 3,000 hours. If that's saying 3,000 hours after you graduate with your PhD, let me just do the math on this really quick.
Why don't we look it up?
yeah. But I also don't know what that 3,000 hours entails, right? Like if
That
you're
3,000 hours would be if you did it just as a theoretical, because I just did the math on it, 4.46 months straight. That's like 24 hours a day. So however many.
it's really not that bad. Like I know that's
How would you
straight
even word
straight.
that? How many
Divvy
hours of
that up over
clinical, like,
How many hours
of working underneath of a license? What? How would I word it?
I'd say
how many
how many
hours of
like
clinical
how many like
practice
hours of clinical like psychology do you need
experience? Yeah,
to
clinical
license
experience you need for
uh, be
psychology
licensed
to
in
be
psychology?
be a
Yeah,
licensed therapist.
Let's see the things in the way.
to be a license.
To
To
be a
be a life.
licensed therapist, yeah. Close.
Fuck off. Their PH. Fuck.
RA
What?
THERA PA or PIST.
Mm, 3,000.
Of super 1,500 must be
must
accrued.
be.
Okay, so yeah, 1,500 must be accrued after your PhD.
Okay,
So that's not as bad as I thought. Because I was gonna
yeah,
say
that's
that
not bad. 'Cause it's like
3,000. I was gonna say 3,000 after your PhD. They really must just not want people to go into this field. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's ridiculous.
yeah. Well, I mean, like it's not the same as like being like a a medical like medicine practicing doctor, but like at the same time, like you're still a doctor, like affecting people's lives.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. You know what's crazy is I know like helicopter pilots like in the army who have about 3,000 hours, which like I'm just crazy like it's a lot of time, but just like the time span of like how long it took to do that. So I've been flying for what like 3 years. I only have like low 600 something hours after three
Yeah,
years.
yeah, but you have to think when they're doing their like supervised experience, like that is their job. That's not like on the side as they're doing their job. They're doing that, 8, 10 hours a day, almost every day. Whereas like for
Yeah.
you, like you're doing mostly other stuff and then like occasionally like you're doing like a
Yeah,
couple
no, I'm
flights
not
every
like
day and shit.
yeah, no. I'm just saying that like
No, it's I still agree.
for
Like
like
that's
pilots it takes a long time. Yeah,
yeah, no, I still agree. Like that's crazy.
yeah.
But
The
because I mean
pilots
like
are good.
for my
The pilots are
to
good.
what's that?
Oh, I was just saying like the pilots that I know that have that much time are like really fucking good. That dude, all right, no. So
Yeah,
there's
let
one
it
of
be.
them that like he's good, but he just pissed me off. I don't like him. But all the other ones that I know that have that much time are like crazy pilots. It's awesome.
I never understood why you didn't want to be a pilot.
So to be a pilot for the army, um, you can either be like you can either be a commissioned officer, which is like a lieutenant or a captain or like whatever. But if you go that route, like it's not guaranteed that you're gonna get it. Um, especially because like the only way to become a pilot, like as a captain, you have to be attached to like an aviation brigade or like battalion or whatever. Like you have to be like a commander of like an aviation like company.
Yeah.
Because for them it's like required to be a pilot. Uh, but you could be a warrant officer, which would be the way to go, because like their only job, like they're like specialized, right? So like their only job is to fly. Like they'll have additional duties, whatever, but like their job is to fly.
Yeah.
Um, but so in my situation where I'm already enlisted, I'd have to go through like the warrant officer training program. I'd have to go through flight school. I'd go through SEER, but like the training in total is like two 2 years, and then to become and then like the contract, it's a minimum like 10 years. So it's basically like an additional 12 years
Hmm.
contract to become a pilot for the army.
So do they still have to do all the regular requirements like you would have to do, like PT in the morning? Do they have to do, or do they kind of get like, here you go,
They
you're a pilot, you do what you need to do? Or do they have their own like sector? Like, okay, well, not that they're above, but they're like, okay, you,
Yeah, that
they're
like
their
their
own
PT
thing.
is different.
Yeah, especially like warrant officers, especially they they're their own thing. Like they should show up for PT, but like no one's gonna tell on them if they don't show up. Like they work totally different than we do.
I see.
They yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
one of my like really good friends, like one of my best friends that I met when I was going to Central, he is just graduated from like his first like pilot training for the Air Force. He's gonna be yeah, he's also go do like more training to be like actually start flying stuff, but he's gonna be flying like heavy like cargo type planes, I believe, for the Air Force. So yeah, he was trying to go fighter pilot, but he said that it was like super competitive. That only like four or five get picked out of like each class to go fighter pilot, and he was like just there. He was like
Don't
right on the verge.
don't those dudes make absolute bank?
Probably.
I don't know, probably.
Let's see.
Yeah. So like I don't know who I don't know if it's the same for that,
And you do
but
not need the screen
I
share
was
for
talking to
this.
somebody about someone they knew in the Navy who works on like nuclear submarines, like a nuclear engineer, and like because the like the demand of the job and just like what they're doing, the Navy has to give them like an incentive. I forget what it's called, but basically they have to pay them basically the same, if not like a little more than what they would make on the outside to keep them there. So like it might be the same for fighter pilots. Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
think the army should do the same thing for my job. But
Mm,
That's not bad.
that's not crazy. I thought it would be a lot more than that.
No, but I mean that's
for
just
military, that's a lot.
yeah, but that's also just straight money, and that's not
Yeah, they get all their like housing and they
yeah
have.
benefit. Like yeah, like my friend and his now wife technically because they got like legally married. They are just living in a house on base, paid for.
Nice.
They make a lot more money if they lived off base. Same. If their
Uh,
BH works the same way, it's like for us, you get your BH or your basic housing allowance, and it depends on where you live or just like the cost of living. But in El Paso, it's like an extra 1,600 a month.
he's
So
in he's in Del Rio. He's at Laughlin, I think.
yeah, so he probably gets more, I would think. But it's
Yeah, but
if you live on base, you don't see any of that money, because you're living on base, like you don't get any of it. So like if you kind of like plan it out. Like you can live off base, like find an apartment that's cheaper, and then you can pocket some of that money. Is like all I mean.
Yeah,
So
I don't think they care about that though, especially because he's gonna find out, I believe he said in March, whether or not he's staying there because he might get sent somewhere else to do the rest of his training.
Mm.
So like until he kind of knows where they're gonna be, like I think they're just chilling on the house on base. Like it's a free house on base. That like he doesn't mind. Like he makes, you know, together they make good enough money. You know, like they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I
David,
mean,
so you're telling me that you don't get paid for your actual rent, you get paid like depending on that, like the housing
Oh
market.
yeah.
So say
Uh,
so
so it's not like off the housing market. It's just the like the cost of living in that area, right? So that's why like El Paso we get like 1,600 a month. But like if I lived in California or like Hawaii, where there's a military base, like Hawaii is one of the most like expensive places to live in the U.S. as far as cost of living goes. So when we were gonna move there, I think it was almost like I think it was somewhere around like 2,800 a month is what we would have got in our BH.
damn.
So it goes off the cost of living, but um,
yeah. I forgot. I don't know how it would work for him either because he's an officer. Like he did Air Force ROTC, and so like he's an officer in the Air Force.
it, like I don't really know Air Force things, but
Yeah.
at least for the Army, like you still get BH. You get paid the same, but actually I don't think your BH increases. Actually, maybe
I I have no idea.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one,
I've never
but
asked him about it because he's always just once he got stationed out in Texas, he just lived by himself, like in one of the like rooms on base, and then like what you have now, pretty much. Man, do you have roommates?
no, I did before, but another building opened up, so like everybody that was sharing a room, we just kind of like send them over there, so everybody gets their own room.
Oh yeah, yeah, because he like got his own room and probably perks of being an officer. I don't think he probably had to worry about sharing a room with someone else. I don't know. That's what I would assume.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah,
Like
and so
all of our
he
officers
just
just got their own rooms.
yeah, and so he's just lived on base the entire time. And when I was talking to him about it, he said that they were just gonna move into a house on base, and I was like, oh, okay, you gotta like buy the house. He's like, no, they just supply it for like military couples if you're technically married. I was just like, oh, okay, free house, nice,
Yeah, they're probably taking his BH. Like
probably.
it's free because like the BH is like it's extra pay. And it's like
Yeah,
it's not your like normal basic like your base pay. It's extra. So like if you don't get paid it, like you're not losing anything.
yeah,
But you can get money out of it depending on how you do it.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
officers
switching
way to
off.
go.
Yeah, switching off topics. I got a question for you guys.
So
So I was thinking about this the other day, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was thinking to myself, you know how we grow up and we all have our own unique individual experiences and it shapes how we are, right?
mhm.
I was thinking about obviously, recently there became like 8 billion people in the world or whatever. Um, and so I thought about it for a while and I was like, how unique really are our experiences? Like, how many people have been in almost identical situations somewhere else in the world that have gone through almost the exact same thing we've gone through? Not necessarily play by play, like lived out our life,
Mhm.
but I'm talking about like our key experiences that we were like, oh, that's so we're like, I've never heard of anyone else, like that's a very unique experience to me. I've never heard of anyone else having a similar experiences. Like, how unique do you think our experiences, like our lives, really are? Because I was thinking about it, and the more I thought about it, the less unique I thought they were. Because there's so many people, the probability in my head, at least, I'm not a mathematician, that someone has lived almost the exact same life as you that's currently on this planet right now, they have to exist. At least like two or three.
Yeah, 8 billion. I feel like the probability is just there's yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that brings it
I
back.
feel like
David, I remember growing up. David he had like
oh
a
no, this is
thought.
depressing. Yeah.
It's not. I mean, no, it's not just but it's like it makes sense. Like just how meaningless your life is, basically. Like, no, he put it. No, no. I remember we're like fucking what 16, and you're like, dude,
Somewhere around there.
imagine our life as a timeline, and we are just this fucking like from when the Earth was created to right now to how long it's gonna be until everything goes black, basically. And he's all like, "Do you understand like how small of a fucking piece on that timeline we are?" And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And
Well, yeah.
at the
Go
time, I
go
didn't
on.
really understand, like, or I didn't want to like accept that. I was like, no, fuck that. Like, we're our own shit. Like, we matter. But then the older I got, I was like, huh, kind of makes sense. But like bringing that to your like example, like, I don't know, dude. It's kind of hard to think that someone lived my exact same life,
I mean,
but
obviously, I'm not saying like exact, but pretty like 99% very similar situations. Because like obviously, like you've had some experiences in the past where you're just like,
mhm.
that's not a normal thing. No one does that, right? But
But they definitely have. Like other people have
yes,
definitely. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
because like, it
And
could
like
be
it,
some
honestly, it's
version.
kind of like
Hmm.
you go ahead.
I guess there's gonna be like someone that's obviously not a version of you, but that's just the way I'm gonna say it, right? Is like it's someone that's like a version of you in France who like almost everything that you did in your life, they have done almost the same or exactly the same around the same time frame that had a roughly the same outcome that changed them in the same way, except they're just in France. Like that's it. That's the only like real key difference. Is like, yeah, maybe they didn't, in ninth grade they didn't, go to the bathroom that one time the same time as you did, like
Oh no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like
It- so
like
I'm kind of thinking
they
of like think about it closer to home, right? Like
mhm,
the three of us and Ryan, right? Like up until like I'm not saying we didn't do everything the same, but up until we all graduated and left,
mhm,
we're like four different people, or three different people doing like pretty much the same things up until we like left and kind of like went off on our own, right? And I'm kind of thinking about like uh Cody and Justin also, right? Like same town every weekend, like out drinking, doing whatever. I'll join the military, like, and that's just in our town, right? I know that's only up to like a certain point, but like close to home, there's like five or six of us that like at least up to that point pretty much did the same thing, right? And then like kind of like stereotypes too, right? Like if you think about like where stereotypes come from, it's like a group of people that have like similar
that makes sense.
traits to them. Like they're all different people, but they all kind of do the same thing.
Hmm.
I
yeah.
don't know.
And I mean,
I feel like we're
I was thinking more. I was thinking more in terms of like life altering, not like life altering, but really like meaningful and unique experiences where like I'll use myself as an example. Like when I was younger, I used to have like an anxiety disorder. Like I went and saw a therapist for it, and I had like OCD, and it. We think it kind of stemmed from like when I was younger, my dad like being deployed and being gone. I didn't understand it, and so my child brain just started freaking the fuck out, right?
Mhm.
And so like eventually, like I got over that, obviously, but you know that same experience probably happened to many other people in the US, but also just like around the world whose parents they leave for whatever reason. They're often some sort of service, whether they don't know, they're just gone back and forth, and they have like a very similar outcome. They have childhood anxiety, they have OCD, like whatever. So some sort of thing happens to them, and then also it can be down to like like us three becoming friends, right? Like things like that that changed the way of kind of how we ended up living our lives. Like, I don't think it's as unique as we think it is. And like
So
you,
are you
like
talking
you,
about?
like
So
you,
are you talking about? Are you talking about? Okay, so life altering things or things we did growing up that not only formed who we are today, but formed our personalities, formed the way that we interact in the world, formed
both.
why we do the things we do. Is that where you're trying to come? You're trying to get at? Is that
I'm saying both because like we think we that's what I'm saying is like we think it's so unique to us and we think that like it's so the probability of someone else having done the same thing or whatever, like all these same things that led up to this same event is so minuscule. But then when you think about it, David had a very, like general broadness of like a lot of people around our town grew up doing a lot of the same stuff. Now, obviously, their individual outcomes and experiences were unique to them,
Mhm.
right? Like obviously, like he brought up the thing of Justin and Cody. They had a general relative same outcome, right? You know, kind of doing sports, partying on the weekends, join the military. But
Mhm.
obviously, Justin, had different experiences. He's dated different people than Cody and like blah blah blah. But I'm talking about when you think of your experiences and your unique thoughts, feelings, actions, reactions, everything like that,
Mhm.
when you think about it, you think to yourself that, this is who I am. This is very unique to me. But when you think about it on a broader scale and a larger scale, I was thinking about like how unique really is it? Like, obviously, there's no way I'm the first person who's done this same thing, first person who's thought these thoughts, first person who's, stuff like that. And you think about it as to, well, how much of my life is it possible that someone else has lived almost the exact same way, leading up to almost the exact same results?
See, I think that it's almost not like I feel like it's almost comforting that that's a thing or that's a thought. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
when
like
no, I'm
scary.
not no, but I'm saying that it's almost like okay, not necessarily to me, but like I'm saying to individuals that are like maybe very like distraught in life, um, like think that, oh, this is only happening to me. I'm different. There's no way, blah, 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 blah. When you can like sit back and be like, no, there's probably a couple thousand people out there that have gone through the exact same thing and they're just fine. Or maybe not, but you know what I mean? But it's like
Yeah.
I feel like that aspect has a good because like um when I was reading about like what was it? There was some sort of it was called the one class that I actually paid attention in. It was talking about bipolar type A and bipolar type B. And it was in this like a psych class or whatever like that. And it was talking about how it takes people a long time to understand the difference between them just being by themselves in like an array of pretty much just chaos and then learning that other people do the same thing. And it was basically talking about like a therapy session when it's like group therapy of all the people in the same type of category that had the same problem. Well, not necessarily problem, but thing that they're dealing with that almost brings them peace to know that other people are going through the same thing. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm not alone. Other people have this. That makes sense. Oh, it's overcomable or it's dealable or you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like that's a good like having that. What brought you to have that thought?
I don't remember. I just remember thinking it was a couple days ago I thought about it. I can't remember what I was doing, but I just started thinking about like I guess myself, my life, and then I was thinking about like other people's, and I was like thinking about the intricacies of myself and what made me that way, and I was just like, there's got to be other people that have had like the same thing,
Mm,
and so it just got me thinking onto this whole thing of basically there's another version of yourself currently out there in this world that's almost exactly like you. you know, like I said, they have like a 1% difference
That's crazy.
in terms of the life they lived, you know, or like five. We'll say like
Would you want to meet?
5%
Would you want to meet
difference.
that person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that would be interesting.
that'd be fucking wild. That'd be like looking in a mirror. Like obviously they're not gonna have the same like physical feat. They might. Fuck, there's 8 billion people.
Yeah, I mean, you and me get told we look a lot alike.
That is true. We do get told we look like fucking related all the time.
I mean, it is because my dad is your dad. So
That is a possibility. That is a possibility.
Damn, dude, I forgot about that. We all have the same dad.
That is a
yep,
possibility.
yep, our dad.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, he's still sometimes. Whenever I bring you up, sometimes he's like, "Oh, my third son."
Your dad fucking cracks me up, bro. Your dad's
Yeah.
bad. That's a
What's
good.
that
That's a
behind
good
you?
thought, though.
What's that behind you? Is that like a painting, like on the ground
Yeah, yeah. I didn't
next
have
to
a
your outlet?
fucking this one. I didn't have
Yeah.
a fucking a nail. I had to go to my truck to fucking get one, but I'm gonna hang it right there. Yeah,
I don't know
literally.
why. I know it's completely safe, but I don't know why it makes me uncomfortable that it's just next to the outlet.
I
I
think
don't
you're,
I
Is
don't
it fire or
I
something
think you're
like?
paranoid.
Yeah.
I am paranoid. Yeah, it just makes me think of like fire. But then like at the same time, like I know it that's why I was saying like I know it's safe, but like I was looking around to see if
You know
my
what
outlets
trips
had
me out?
anything.
You know what trips me out? The fact that that fucking painting on your goddamn head fucking thing for your bed is over to the side and not in the goddamn middle.
I told you, man, I used to have a whiteboard
I
up here
understand, but is that
and moved
whiteboard
it.
there now?
No.
Oh, weird.
You know what's
Would you
crazy
have a
is
white?
you have a painting on the floor, bro.
I don't
Shut
have a
up.
nail to put it up yet.
Shut up.
I don't have a nail to put it up yet.
Would you have a white bed on your bed for? Like, what are you putting on the whiteboard?
It was like a calendar whiteboard, so I'll like put like stuff that I have to do. And then because I didn't want to just like hang it up, so I just put it above my bed. I don't know.
It seems like a weird place. I think. Want to just hang it up like a normal person?
No, it was too much work.
Just like put it on the wall by your bed. Just like wake up and
I don't want it on the wall by my bed though.
just on the bed.
Yeah, I want it above my bed.
Have you ever heard of the thing where like this might have just been a fucking rancher thing, but you put something under your pillow. So say you want to remember something, right? Like I used to do it in school sometimes, like for a test. I'd sleep with the book under my head, like under my pillow. And be like, I'm gonna suck. Like, obviously, I'd study and shit. Obviously,
I'm gonna suck
like
the knowledge out of this book
I was
while I
probably like
sleep.
middle school. I was probably like middle school, and I remember I would like study, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna sleep with this fucking book under my pillow, and I'm gonna just I'm gonna suck in this fucking knowledge into my dome, bro. And I'd sleep, and I'd think about the fucking like what I read, and be like, okay, okay. It was like almost like a placebo effect, like making me be like, okay, no, it's gonna get locked in there.
Did it ever work? Like, did you do better
I
than it?
don't know. I don't know. I've always been a weird test taker in the fact that I never studied until like the very night before, and then I pull a B every single time. I don't know why.
I kind of have a
We
cool
get it from our
cool
dad.
thing about that.
Yeah, probably.
I'm the same way. Not the same way, but
I never, dude. Everything was last minute. Like everything I've ever done in school, like I just procrastinate to the very last second, then just boom, get it done. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's stressful, but you get it done, man.
dude, that video you sent me where it was all like the
The deadline mode.
yes, dude, that hit home. I was like, oh my god, that is literally exactly how I function.
Yeah, it's not good. I've been trying to get out of that, and I was like kind of getting out of that more towards the end of like my career in undergrad or whatever. But still, there were times where just last second, I'm just like oh, like last year or like that professor that I said wouldn't write me the letter of recommendation. For both of his classes, I didn't write the final paper that was due until the day it was due.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I got my second one done because I woke up early. I had a final that I had to go to at like 8 a.m. I went to the final, which I studied a lot for the final the night before. So I got like 4 hours of sleep, went and took the final, went to the library, wrote this first like 4-page paper in a couple hours. And then I wrote the second like 4-page paper in a couple hours. And he said that they were due by 5 p.m. that day, that we had to email it to him. Because he also, that was also one of the other things. He didn't use Canvas like to turn anything in. So we also didn't know our grade. So I had no idea what my grade was.
That's stressful.
Because we had to, we could go up and ask him because he like had like his grade book. But I like in both of his classes. Well, actually, no. In the first class, in the psychology of sport injury, I kind of bombed one of the tests. And when I say bombed, I got like a C. But like, I didn't know what my grade was going into that. I ended up pulling an A on both, like I said. But yeah, the second. So he said that they were due at 5 p.m. And the second one I got done and emailed to him at 4:59. And I'm not even kidding. He emails me back and says, "Good timing, Logan. Thanks."
That's awesome. That dude sounds fucking hilarious.
And I was fried after
Oh, I
that.
bet.
I used all my brain power for the day because obviously they had to be good papers.
Yeah.
And so I guess they were. I don't know. I still have them on this computer.
I do not miss doing any of that.
I haven't had to do
No,
any yet.
but I
Yeah, good
miss
luck, Dave. Good luck.
I miss the learning
It's so much easier
aspect.
online, it seems like.
If school was just go to school, learn, leave,
That'd be so much better. I
yeah, I'd
fucking
love it.
hated doing anything outside of the classroom.
But
Like,
that's why I liked the classes where it was basically like just tests
yeah,
because
yeah.
you just learn, study on your own, take a test. If you don't do that well on the test,
Mm,
guess what? You don't know the material that well. You got to study it more.
yeah.
But it is kind of scary when there's only like 2 tests and then a final because if you bomb one of them, then it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm not going to get a good grade in this class.
Just don't bomb it.
Yep. Okay. Also, it sounds like doing school online is so much easier. It's for me, like we kind of work in terms. All right, so like the course I'm doing right now, it's like an 8-week term. Each week is like a separate module, right? So there's like 8 weeks, 8 modules. And then it's like very little student teacher interaction. So everything's just kind of set up. Like when we were suspended, they just kind of like gave you all the work for
Oh
those like
yeah,
2 weeks. You
yeah.
just do it on your own and turn
How
it
long
in.
were we suspended
That's
for?
basically how it is.
Did we get suspended for like
I
2 weeks?
think it was 2 weeks. Yeah, yeah, because we had like a month left of school, and we would have been suspended for 45 days, but we did those classes, so it was 2 weeks.
When did you
Oh,
guys get
we had to
suspended?
go to those fucking
Seen
yeah,
like the last
yeah.
month of senior year, so we were drunk at prom.
Did you guys? I don't think you guys ever told me about this.
Oh
You probably
yeah,
did.
we
I don't know
got
how you didn't know.
we got
Huh?
fucking yeah. That was ridiculous.
You said you don't know how I didn't know.
Yeah,
Dude, I was at college. I was two
dude,
and a
I
half
don't
hours
know.
away. I'm
Dude,
sure
like,
you guys probably told
Bro,
me. I just probably don't remember.
you know
probably.
what's funny too? We would have all placed the state for track that year. All
Oh
of
yeah,
us.
and we would
All
have went
three.
to nationals for powerlifting too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Dude, Franz was mad. He was kind of pissed afterwards because I didn't like
Kind
we
of.
apologized to Henry,
Oh,
but yeah, I
three of
didn't see
us.
the
Three of
Franz.
his throwers were fucking
I
gone.
couldn't imagine Mr. Franz being mad at you guys for something like that. Wow. Who would have thought?
I will just never
Yeah.
forget. I will never forget when we had to go to those like drug and alcohol classes, right? For like minors. And we all had a conversation. We're like, hey, we have to fucking lie. Like we have to lie because if we tell the truth, we're gonna be fucked. Like, because they're like, you remember how they like interrogated you about like your life, like how much you drank, like
Yeah.
what your weekends are like all that kind of stuff. And I
I had to
remember
do
me
that
and Dakota,
twice.
huh?
I've had to do that twice.
Dude, me and Dakota went in there and just fucking lied our asses off. Like, oh no, like that was like probably like our second time drinking, it's just senior year. Like we wanted to like kind of like have a good time. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was a mistake. I can't believe we did that. Blah, 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 blah. Bro, we told David the same shit. We're like, bro, we lied. And we're chilling. Like all me and Dakota had to do was go to one class where we drew like a fucking, I don't know, we made like a poster talking about why alcohol is bad. And when I tell you we're in this room with like fucking like 16-year-old
Alcoholics.
fucking heroin addicts, like it was ridiculous. I was like, holy fuck. And so we're in there, we make like a little poster, and then boom, that's all we had to do. David goes in there, fucking like I'm pretty sure you didn't even tell the full truth, but you gave like a little bit more. What did you
Yeah.
say?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but
And
more than I should.
she was trying to act like your friend too. Because that's what she was
Yeah.
doing for us. She's like, oh, don't worry. Like, I did the same thing in high school, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I remember looking
Yeah.
at her like, you sneaky woman. You're trying to get me to give up something. Get out of here.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of liked her though. So I did go
I bet you did.
every Wednesday for I think it was like for that 2 weeks. Actually, no, I think it was longer.
No, it was like for like 2 months or some
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
Like you
It
had
was a
to go to
while.
like legit like minor AA classes.
Yeah.
Like even after
It
graduation.
was,
Yes. This
was it after
fucking
graduation?
guy.
It
All
wasn't
he had
after.
to say was no, I don't drink that much. And he would have got off totally fine.
I don't know. Dude, honestly, I kind of like going though. It was weird.
David.
I want to tell her all my problems.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, if that's what you like doing, all right, whatever. But if it helped
No,
you, but I was just like, dude,
yeah. No, so like I think the only reason I didn't really lie like that is because after remember when I got in trouble for stealing stuff from my parents and I was grounded for like 3 months, like freshman year.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that kind of fucked me up with lying. Like I don't since then, like I just don't like lying like that anymore. Like dude, I don't know, like it just I just feel like too guilty, right? So it's like I just do it. Like depending on the situation, like if y'all did something out to like help cover something up, like I won't fucking like snitch on you guys or anything. But like
I don't
just
believe
if I did something,
it.
like I don't know.
If there's an authority figure, you're gonna fucking say what the truth. I've just accepted that. I've just
Not
accepted
if
it.
it not if it involves you guys.
All right, well, I
Like
appreciate that.
if
Well, hopefully
if
that
if
never has
I,
to happen,
if I get
but
in trouble,
I
like
appreciate it.
if I get in trouble, it's whatever. But like as you guys, I won't say anything. It's just like how it is in my head. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, hopefully again, that's never gonna happen. So,
Yeah,
but
hopefully. Never.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I think this is
got
a
you.
perfect time to tell some more stupid stories from our childhood.
Ah, all
So
right.
Remember that
this
time I
one is
almost died?
What
hold
which
on.
time?
We
At
can't
the
start with that. We cannot start with
okay, okay.
with a near death.
Later
Okay.
time.
What story are we gonna bring up?
I was this one isn't real. Like we can do something else after this one. But when you first brought this idea up, this is the first thing that came to my head.
Hmm.
Did I ever tell you guys how I broke a table in Mr. Franklin's class
No, you did
in
not.
I
math?
feel like I heard about that. That sounds familiar.
I don't think I've heard this
'Cause,
one.
it
Did you
was
sit on it?
I want to
Like
say it was my freshman or sophomore year, so I didn't know you guys yet, but I don't know if I had ever told it. So you remember this the guy in our high school, Daniel Gannis or something?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I,
he was
I
just like
think so.
short kind of kid. I don't know, we were both degenerates at the time. I don't know if he still is. Stop talking to him. Well,
Yeah.
didn't hang out with him anymore. I want to say it was my freshman or yeah, no, it was my sophomore year, I think. Whatever. Anyways, I go into Mr. Franklin's class, and you know how he always stands outside his door for math class when he'd like to like welcome people to his class.
Yeah.
I do have a weird memory of him doing that all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always did it. And so I go into his class. He, says hi, whatever. And like he didn't like me because, like I said, I was a degenerate.
You
But
were.
he liked me because I was smart. I was good at math and I like aced all the tests. But I was a degenerate and I sat at the back of the class with Daniel
I
and
don't even think you
bullshitted.
were like you weren't a degenerate. your surroundings were degenerates, and you
Well,
kind
yeah, and I just went along with it.
yeah.
And so, but I mean, don't get me wrong, some of that shit was fun.
Well,
But
yeah,
like,
no, I just remember being like, just looking at that group and being like, what the fuck? Like,
trust
what?
me, dude, I look back on it and I'm just like, why? Like, why was I there?
That shit was,
My high school could have been so much more productive had I just had different friends.
yeah. Well, as soon as you started doing sports,
Yeah, and don't get me
everything
wrong,
changed.
like a lot, like some of those guys I still think are, I still like Nathan, Tanner,
Yeah,
but like then everyone else that kind of like, and that's not that I don't like them because I mean they're still cool. It's just it wasn't leading me down a better path of life.
no, I definitely don't dislike anybody that gave me no reason to dislike them. I just thought, man, what a group! Like,
Yeah,
what a group of people! My God.
yeah. But anyways, so getting back to the thing, I was going into Mr. Franklin's class and I had this bright idea. I was like, I'm gonna Daisy Duke slide across this fucking table at the back.
Mm,
And keep in mind, Mr. Franklin is at the door, looking out in the hallway, like welcoming people to his class and, saying hi to people walking by.
mm.
And I jumped up a little bit too high. And so instead of like landing on the table and just like sliding across, I like jumped and just landed in the middle of the table, broke right in half, right underneath me. And
Was
so
it
I
like those fucking? Was it like it wasn't like real mahogany like wood, but the
No,
dark.
I think they're like the old like cheap where like the
it was like
particle
pressed wood shit. Yeah, it
like
Yeah,
was
I
like
know,
particle
but
board.
I'm saying like,
Yeah,
but it's like it was like skinned in that wood grain
yeah, yeah,
mahogany
yeah.
colors.
yeah,
Okay,
like that
Yeah,
laminated.
it was one
Uh,
of those.
they had that
And
weird like brown plastic around
yep,
the edges. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. So keep in mind that was the only one in his class. Also, he had that one table at the back, and he had had it there the entire year.
Uh-huh.
And I jump on it, I break it, I pop the fuck up, and then I pop up in time to where I still see him turning around, and he like looks at me and looks down at the table, and my backpack's in the middle of the table, like broken in half on the ground, and he's like, "What happened?" Like pissed, and I was just like, "I don't know. I just threw my backpack on the table. The thing just split in half."
Smart, smart,
And
smart.
I don't think
Wait,
he
he
believed
bought
me.
it?
I don't think he believed me,
Miss
but he
Franklin just
didn't
didn't give a
have
fuck.
proof.
He did
No,
not
he
care.
would. No, he was mad.
Yeah, but he was the most like he would fall asleep in class like at the front of his room. He'd like give his like little 10-minute thing and be like, "Here's your work," and he would literally fall asleep at the front of class. He does
I
not
don't.
give a fuck.
No, he
Remember
was
all
mad.
those football
He
games?
never did that for my classes.
Oh, he definitely did for ours.
But no, he
Yeah.
was
Oh,
mad, and
man.
like he made me and Daniel like during class time like pick it up and like throw it out, like take it out to the dumpster, and then we just had to sit in like regular seats. But I don't think he bought it, but he didn't have the proof to say that I did something else, and no
Well,
one saw.
he didn't give a fuck. He was
All
just
the
like,
people in the class.
"I hate these
Nick Henry
kids."
was in that class.
Went back to his fucking death.
You remember, obviously you remember Nick Henry. He was in that class, and
Oh yeah.
he was already like sitting down,
Mhm.
and luckily no one was sitting at like looking at the back. No one saw what happened besides me and Daniel.
Huh.
And so I popped up. I think like Nick like saw me like popping up, like getting up from sitting down on it,
Yeah.
but no one ever said anything.
Did Nick go
And
into Marines? Is that what he did? I
he
think.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
makes
he
sense.
did.
Makes sense.
What another generalization of sports, partying, military from our
Yeah.
town.
Yep.
That's
There's a lot of it, man.
yeah,
It's
but
gonna be like a
anyway,
small town thing.
probably yeah. So that's a little. That's the first thing for whatever reason that I thought of. I just still think it's so funny that I fucked up I don't know how I fucked up the jump that bad. I just went to the table was so short, I guess,
You
and I
literally
just
instead of trying to glide over the table, you fucking high jumped
I like did the Buffalo Bills tailgate thing where I just jumped in the
Oh,
middle of the table pretty much. Like that's what happened by accident.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Um, yeah. Oh, you guys remember the hobo spot?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a good spot. I think it was I forget who else was with us, but I think it was me, Andrew Walter, maybe Brandon Porter, and yeah, I forget his last name. Garrett. It's Garrett something. We were like walking down the tracks and we found it. I think Anthony Hill was with me too. Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
Anthony
It
Hill,
was like
bro.
a group
huh?
of us that found it. We went camping out there.
I
It
forgot.
wasn't near the tracks.
It
It
was
was so
near the
we found
trail,
it from the tracks because if
near the
you
trail.
Yeah, yeah. It was like on that trail, and then you'd go do a different trail, and then there was that giant fucking like pile of
yeah, so
sticks
I think
and
that's
brush
I,
and
I I think that's I'm pretty sure I sh- I would have had to show you guys. So I'm pretty sure that's how I like showed you guys how to get there. But when I found it, me yeah, it was like the group of us, and I think I know Anthony was there at some point, but we found it from walking on the tracks, and we just like found a clearing. Right?
Mhm.
'Cause you're like, you can get to it from the railroad tracks if you walk far enough. There's like a clearing down there,
Eh,
and it's just like a big open space.
bro,
You
Like
absolutely.
not even near where are tracks near that?
no,
Well, like there's a gap, right? So like there's the trail, like the Yelm Tanano Trail, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a big field, and then there's the railroad tracks. It's on like the back side of it.
We're talking about two different spots then. We're
The
talking
hobo
about
spot?
yeah, the hobo spot. Remember
No,
how
no.
okay, do you remember? Okay, so remember Ryan's cousins? They lived on that corner.
Yeah,
It was right across from that. Like there's a stop sign, there's like the T. I'm sitting at the stop sign. Ryan's cousin's place is right to the left of me, straight ahead. That's where the hobo spot was.
I think it's farther down on the trail.
No, it's right there. I promise you.
well, anyways, you guys remember? I don't know if David was there for this. Um,
I know exactly
but
what
I
story you're about to tell. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
was he
I think
there for this?
I don't
no,
know. He
no,
got it.
I wasn't there for that party. So I think I have a picture of it, and someone's on someone's back, like taking a beer bomb.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
wasn't there for that.
That was a
Yeah.
terrible experience because it started pouring down fucking rain.
Yep.
And we all like there was probably like 15 of us crowded this one.
Dog piled in my mom's car.
No.
Cause
Before you showed up, we were like piled in this fucking
tent.
like yeah, but it was
I
broken.
was there for that.
You were
Yes.
in the tent with us?
Yes.
How did you do that sober, dude? We were all like disgustingly drunk. You were sober.
I know. I
Dude,
know you guys were because
when I
I
tell
was
you
the
this
one that had
fucking
to fucking
bro,
drive you
when
guys.
I tell you this fucking tent, I don't know what the fuck happened, but for like a split second, we were out of the rain, and then all of a sudden, the tent
You
just
booked
started
it to my
filling.
car.
No, but the tent started filling up with fucking water. Like there was like a whole like half of us were all on this side, half of us were all on this side. And then all of a sudden, this side started filling up with water. So all of us like crowd to one side, and we're just like, "Holy fuck, this is terrible."
Yeah, and then once we got that like break in the rain, we
Yeah,
all just booked it to my car or my mom's car, and we fit. Yeah, like I
and
want
I
to say we
remember you
fit
were
like
pissed at me because I kept trying to drink in the car, and
yeah.
you're
You
like,
were drinking in the car. Cody was drinking in the car.
Stop."
Cody kept vaping in the car, and it was fogging up the fucking glass, and I couldn't see. And I yeah, bro. There was never a time more in my life that I wanted to punch Cody in the throat so hard.
Dude.
I
I remember
was so mad.
it was dead silent, and I just cracked a beer, and then maybe be like, "Hey, what the fuck?" I'm like, "What, dude?" You're like, "I fucking heard that," and I was like,
Yeah,
"I don't
because
know
you
what you're talking
dumbasses
about,
didn't. You
man."
guys didn't understand the consequences of if I get pulled over
Yes,
with
duh.
all these drunk people in my car and open alcohol, I'm going to jail.
Yes.
Yeah,
You guys just
Dude,
didn't give a
I'm trying to
fuck.
remember
No,
where I
You
we
guys
were
are
was.
really
fucking
good.
I think,
idiots.
Yeah, we were.
But
dude,
now, think about it now. Think about if someone were to do that to
Dude,
you now.
I would never. The biggest thing for me is that like the 21-year-olds that were buying us alcohol when we were like 14, 15 years old, I look back on it and I'm just like,
Degeneracy.
no, not even like that.
Degeneracy.
I'm just like,
Like,
how,
what the fuck are you
like,
doing?
how could you have done that?
Well, yeah, you guys were
yeah,
young.
I
I
wouldn't
always
have
just
done.
did it with like getting shit from my brother or something when he turned
Yeah, but
21.
that's different.
But
That's your
he's a
brother.
but yeah, and he was
I was with
also
like random people.
I know.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
I
I
commented
never
like
got that. The whole
stranger
like, yeah, just going up to the Texaco and
Dude,
asking
what do we
random
call it? We
people.
called
No,
it.
it
What do we
worked.
call it? What do we call it?
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. That's what we
Yeah,
Yeah.
did.
no,
Yeah,
it
Just
yeah, yeah.
worked.
ask
It
people.
worked. Dude, I remember one like out of the many times that we did it, there was one
Dude,
time where
tell me
I
one
think it was the
time,
three of us, and we went
dude.
down with backpacks and we got 840s.
I
He came out with
remember
a
that
box.
fucking dude. That
Yeah,
dude came out with a fucking like a brown box and was like
yeah.
running out of the fucking store. And we're like, thanks, bro. And we're like shoving our bag. We just get on our bikes and we just dip, bro. I was like, what the fuck?
What
Yeah,
is wrong with Rainier, man?
I
Like, what
don't
the
know.
fuck?
but nothing else to do.
Do you remember we'd be posted up behind that little like where that bench was and like the little shadow behind they had that
Uh-huh.
like spotlight coming down from the gas station or whatever, and we'd be
Yep.
posted up right there and we just wait for a shitty car to pull up. We're just we literally just sit there and we'd be like, okay, not that one, not that
Lurking
one.
in the shadows.
Literally, we'd
Yeah.
just be waiting. We wait, dude. We'd wait there for like an hour, hour and a half.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
Dude,
think
the
about
key
it.
was to go like an hour before it was gonna close, because that's when all the like the last minute degenerate tweakers show up. It's like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I need
yeah.
my black and mild and swishers, whatever.
Yeah.
That's when they show up, and
That's
they'll
what I'm.
fucking do
That's
the
what
rest
I'm
of the
saying. Is like everyone who was like doing that for you guys are just degenerates.
We didn't even
Yeah.
just do we did that everywhere. Like we go to like Lacey and do it.
No, that was stealing.
Okay, let's
That
not talk about that. Let's not talk about
was
that.
different.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, underage drinking, fine. Stealing,
That was just
Yeah.
this is no.
Still like a crime.
No, but oh man.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we would still do gas stations. Like say it didn't work out what we are doing.
Because you can get anyone pulling up to a gas station with a crappy car and just being like, yeah, they're probably fucked a little bit.
Literally.
Like
No, I remember I would literally look for people. I remember being like, there's this one guy that he had no shoes on and he was just sitting there smoking a cigarette. And I remember being like, this guy would definitely buy me beer. And I was up to him like,
That's my
what's up,
guy.
man? I was like, you trying to buy me a 40? And he's like, what? I was like, I'll give you the rest of the change. He's like, okay. I just give it to him. And he goes in, gives me my shit, and then sits right back in the same spot, lights another cigarette, and just starts smoking. And I'm just like, sweet. And I just
Yeah.
fucking left. I was like, all right. It's
Dude, so
fun.
I had an experience in Olympia. It wasn't with any of you guys, but me and another friend in the group. I'm just not gonna say his name. It's not here. We went to this gas station in Olympia, right? And we found like the closest looking kind of tweaker dude we could find,
Yep.
right? So he was like just kind of sitting in the bushes on the side of the gas station. So Olympia. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
A lot of
like
those out there.
yeah. So our friend that I walked up to him with, tall, like tall dude,
Oh,
like
I remember
real
this
big.
story. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
this story. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I
He
remember
was
this
like,
story. Yeah.
just fucking like big stature kind of guy. I mean, I'm short, but whatever. I got some
Yeah.
stock. But yeah, so we walk up to this dude, and he starts to like back away from us. He was like scared. He's kind of like backing away. We're like we are just trying to talk to him, like, hey man, like, can you go buy some alcohol, whatever. But he
Mm.
just kept like backing away, like he didn't hear us, like he was scared, right? And then eventually, like, he just kind of stopped, and we got close enough to him to like ask him, like, hey man, like, can you go get us some stuff, like whatever. And like when he calmed down, he was telling us like why he was so scared. And dude, he was like obviously like dude covered in like acne, just whole like dude, the whole like 9 yards, whatever. But yeah, he was like, dude, I thought you guys were like walking up to me to like jump me. He's like, I thought you guys were gonna fuck me up. We're like, no, man, like we
Like,
just
we
want some
want
Four
some beer,
Locos.
sir. Sir, we just want some beer. That's all you need.
We're just trying to get drunk, man. He's like, oh, he's like yesterday, like I got jumped. I'm like, oh,
He's like,
oh
nice
shit.
for you, guy. Can
Yeah.
you go to the store?
Yeah.
Fuck it out.
Anyways, that's that story. Yeah.
God, we were fucking just Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, once I
I'm amazed we never
once
got caught. Like,
We got
actually,
yelled
I
at
don't know.
times, like, get the fuck out
Yeah.
of here. We're like, man, fucking go. But
Yeah.
yeah,
What's that?
bro, I don't know. Once I started sports like junior year and everything, just immediately like all of that shit for me just stopped. Like I didn't drink at all, like anything until I graduated high school again. I didn't like I would still go to like parties and stuff. I just wouldn't drink. Like obviously, like I went to some with you guys and whatever, but like I just stopped being a degenerate, and I just like actually I was like, huh, I kind of actually want to go to college, and so I actually like started trying in school. But it was too late to save my GPA. I
yeah,
graduated
but
with
you
like a
still
two.
about to go to Penn State. Now you
Yeah.
graduated. Now you're about to go to fucking graduate school. You're chilling, dude.
Yeah, because there's no way I would have gotten into Penn State out of high school though. I graduated high school with like a
Oh, that's
2.2
right. You went to
GPA.
Central. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
graduated high school with like a 2.2 GPA after my first. Yeah,
What?
yeah. My
Wow.
freshman and sophomore year, D's and F's, bro. That was pretty much it. Like
Jesus.
maybe like one or two F's, but like C's and D's. I didn't care because I was like in my head, or I was like, I'm just gonna join the military probably. I was like, I don't really know if I want to go to college, and I didn't like doing homework. The only reason I would pass classes was because I would ace the tests.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like I was stupid. I just didn't do the homework. I didn't enjoy school, which whatever, right? And then I changed, and I was like, huh, kind of want to go to college, and I was like, oh, kind of got to try if I want to go to college. So then I had to do my homework and get good grades and all this and all that. And then yeah, so I went to Central. But then after my first 2 years at Central, my GPA was like above a 3.5. I think it was like a three. It was like a high. It was like a high three, which is how I got
Mhm.
into transfer to Penn State. Then I graduated here with a 3.24.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's not bad, but it's not like great. Like obviously, it's above where you need to be.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to go to grad school, hopefully again at Penn State, and we'll see.
I feel like our thing. What? No, time out. That's fucking awesome. Proud of you,
Yeah.
brother. Like
Thanks.
seriously, that's fucking awesome.
Thank you.
I feel like our shit was like we never let man. How would you explain it, Dave? Like we never let like we didn't drink during the week. We drank on the weekends.
Yep.
Never
Yeah.
we never let
The only
drinking
thing
interfere with our sports. We never like we all kept our grades up. We all
passing for me, but yeah.
what did you graduate with?
Bro, all right. So when I got my transcripts earlier this year so I could join college,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it was a below a 2.0.
What?
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was like
So,
a maybe like 1.9, 1.8, I think.
so you were like on the verge of not graduating high school.
Yeah.
I
Damn.
never knew that.
Yeah. I didn't know that either until earlier this year.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I think mine was like a 2.9 or
Yeah.
some shit like that. Damn, that's terrible. I
That's
fuck,
almost a 3.0.
dude.
It's good to me.
Uh,
Shit.
well, I mean, neither of them are in like
No, they're in relative to
no,
complete
no,
like to be a good GPA, like
no, yeah, no. To be a good GPA, neither of those are close.
not even close.
Two
But we
point
also
nine is kind of well, no, for high school, no.
that's terrible.
Yeah, for high school, no.
Awful.
For like graduating college with like an undergraduate, you get a 2.9. It's not
All I cared
terrible.
about, literally all I cared about, I wanted higher than a 2.5 so I could go play college football. Because that was
Yeah.
the cutoff for the what was it fucking like your NCAA number or whatever the fuck it was.
Got
or
it.
some shit like that.
So
Yeah,
I
see,
think that's the thing because I never had like an incentive to get good grades, right? Because I think it was like junior year, I just kind of realized that like the academics of high school, like to me, was just kind of pointless in a way.
Okay, well,
Especially because like by
before
then
you
I was
continue,
almost committed to going.
imagine if we actually put our efforts into school though. There's no way we wouldn't have close to 4.0s. Like I'm dead serious.
Oh yeah. I mean,
No
if we
fucking
tried,
way.
we probably could have got 4.0s in high school. But I think the
No
only thing that like
fucking way we didn't.
I think the
yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, I mean we absolutely could have, but I think the only thing that like doing that in like my life would have made a difference for me is like if I could have got a full ride scholarship to college. Because like if I could have got a full ride, I would have went to college before. It's like that's
Well,
kind of why it's like
mine
it
was
was one of
only
the
I went and played D2. It wasn't a full ride. They paid for like tuition percentage, but it wasn't like I had a full ride my freshman year, not from the college, but from outside source scholarships. Like
yeah.
they gave me money, my scholarship money for playing ball, but I got my freshman year paid for because of outside source scholarships. And then my sophomore year, I just had my, I think I just had my, I think I had like one outside source scholarship, but it wasn't that much. And then I had my tuition from football. Not it was like a percentage of it or something. I forget. And
yeah,
then yeah, or something like that. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah.
still think it's crazy to me to like think that because I don't know what my GPA was before my junior and senior year, but
Mhm.
literally my junior and senior year I got all A's and B's, and I still graduated with a 2.2.
But yeah, if you
So
fuck up and get a 1.0,
Yeah.
you're not gonna.
no, but that's and like remember how I was trying to go to the Naval Academy for a while?
Yeah, yeah.
If I would have done everything, like actually tried my first 2 years of high school, I probably would have ended up in the Naval Academy because they told me that straight up, like the thing that was holding me back as to why I basically didn't get in
Hmm.
was my GPA.
So you glad
Because
you didn't do that
every what's that?
now? Are you glad you didn't do that now?
Yeah, like looking back on it, it was like a blessing in disguise. But at the time, like I was not in a good place when I got rejected from the Naval Academy.
Didn't you want to be a
Like
SEAL?
I did, yeah. And then I kind of grew out of that. Um, and my dad had asked me about it for a while, and he was like, "Why don't you want to do this anymore?" And I told him I was like, to me, like I wanted that challenge of like SEAL school and all this and all that because I think I could do it, right? And like it seems really cocky to say, but like in my mind, like I know that I could do it because I know that like it wouldn't mentally break me, and even if it did, like I'm not gonna go ring that fucking bell.
Hmm.
Like, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm not gonna go do that shit.
Hmm.
And so like I would fucking break physically before mentally, at least in my head. And then when I found wrestling and like I fell in love with wrestling, that kind of took over like the challenge of like what I wanted to do. Cause like as you guys know, like wrestling pushes you very physically, very mentally. That's why a lot of Navy SEALs come from wrestling. And so I was like, I don't know. I don't think I didn't really want to do it anymore. Which by the time after like my freshman year of college, because I tried again my freshman year of college,
Hmm.
but yeah. So I don't know. My views on life changed, and I didn't really want to commit myself to that anymore, and I wanted to pursue other things.
I will never forget. I will never forget the time where I was all like, like my perspective of you changed. It was at football because I remember when you came out to play football. What was it? Your
Junior year.
junior year. So
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So my
Oh,
freshman, yeah. So
yes.
me and Dave's freshman year, it was your junior year. You came out to play, and you would miss like
I missed all preseason because I
yeah,
came out the first day of school.
yeah. So like you missed like I want to say
15
15.
practices. Missed
Yeah,
15
15.
practices.
So you had to do like you had to carry the dummy bag above your head and do like 15 laps around the field. And I
Yep.
remember being like, oh, this fucking guy. I was like, no way this fucking dude lasts. I was like, because I like all I knew you previously from like seeing you around school. Like I don't think I ever even talked to you, but I knew
Yeah.
like your demographic of people you hung out with and that kind of stuff. And I was like, no fucking way this guy's doing this. And then like I remember like watching you and you would just come to practice every day and you just fucking put that bag over your head and you just start running. And I'm like, every day I'd be like, I was like, no way he gets to do this shit today. And then I think it was like, I don't know.
I did it over the course of I believe 3 practices because
Yeah, I
he
think
told me he was like you can do like 5 a day for the next 3 practices
yeah, or some shit like that.
because then after that I'd be able to put pads on or some shit. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
yeah. Because I remember like it was either the second day or some shit. I was like, this dude came back. I was like, no fucking way. And then like you finished it, and I remember being like, huh, all right, I fuck with this guy. I'll just off merit, off the fact that you fucking completed it. And then you did wrestling with us. Well, not with us. You joined the wrestling team, and then like you did wrestling. I was like, guy's not that fucking bad. And then like fucking you just became immersed in sports and then kind of joined our like group, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I will never forget that. I was like, no way this fucking guy does this shit. And he did it. And I was like, huh, good for that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
And I mean, I remember Coach Shaw's like little speech on my senior night, and
Mm-hmm.
he told that story, and he was like saying that as I was like finishing up, he was like he thought to himself, this guy is either crazy or he really wants to play football.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess it's kind of accurate for both. I mean, like I don't know, like I came in, the rule was each day you miss practice, got to run a lap. I had
Yep.
missed 15 practices, so you got to do this. I was just like, okay. I was like, okay,
Which I thought
okay.
was low
Like,
key kind of slight for missing an entire practice. All you had to do was one fucking lap with the bag. I remember
well,
being
yeah,
like,
but it sucked.
well, obviously it fucking sucked, but I didn't think like I don't know. I thought it was gonna be more than that. I remember thinking, being like, man, I could have missed some practices.
Yeah.
I remember when that changed.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like the next year, but instead of having to like run the lap, you had to do like a flip a tire down the back.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
But
that
that
was the
kind of
next year
like
because that was my senior year. I remember that. That
yeah,
was worse. That was way
yeah.
worse.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember I missed my senior year. I missed the first actual day of practice during school because I didn't go to school on my first day because because since the year before I had started doing like running start, so I was like
yeah.
doing the like college high school thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I only did it for the one semester because I my grades weren't high enough for it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I what did I do? Oh yeah, over the summer I had to do basically a semester's worth of English and a semester's worth of social studies.
Yeah.
And so Miss Russ wanted that like on her desk, like first day of school, like
Which
because I had
I thought was ridiculous. I remember
the
like
whole summer.
yeah,
Well,
I
I
remember
had the whole summer. She gave me like these things that I had to do and read and like all these projects that I had to do. And then I give it to her, she'll grade it all, boom, right? And so a couple days before school's about to start, I'm like, damn, I haven't done any of this.
computes. Computes.
And so it was like deadline mode, you know? I was just like, all right, I gotta start doing this. I read like 2 or 3 books, wrote like 4 papers, all within like 2 days because I kept putting it off, kept putting it off, kept putting it off. I'll say like 3 days. And then I was like, there's no way I get this finished tomorrow when like the first day of school starts. And that she needed it for that first day. So I just didn't go to school. I didn't go to practice. I just finished my work. But I still had all of my social studies work to do. But I was like, I can't just not go to school until I get this done. So I went to school the next day.
Right.
I gave all my English stuff to Miss Russ. And then I remember I came to practice and Coach Shaw was like, Logan, why weren't you here yesterday? And I was like, I was sick.
Mm.
And he was like, okay. And obviously, like, he didn't buy it, but he was just like, okay, well, you know what you got to do, right? I'm like, yeah, I'll go do the tire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that tire sucked. I still would have done it if I had to do 15 tire flips, but like,
Do you guys remember when we did the fucking up down competition?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That was rough. That was
I
fucking.
remember I fucking blacked out, and then I woke up to
Puked.
Coach Hicks pouring fucking water down the back of my fucking pads. I was like, oh fuck. And then he let like what was it, the top three? It was like me, Cole, and
Ducharme. Dylan.
or yeah,
Yeah.
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 He let us three sit at the goalpost while you guys all had to do fucking the up down fucking or was it you guys did lines? What was it?
I don't
I think it was
remember.
lines.
Dude.
It was like you like run 10 yards, come back, run 10 yards, and you do that all the way down the field and then all
Yeah.
the way back.
Yeah. Which I thought was fucking insane. The fact that he let us like I was like, I remember sitting there with like ice on my neck and being like, they're running right now. And then like, Coach Hicks, he's like, yeah, bud, like you guys are top three, you guys get to sit out. And we're all looking at each other like, dude, what the fuck is happening? That shit
Dude,
was
yeah, I remember that because like I wasn't like I want to say I was like top 15, top 12,
mm-hmm,
maybe top 10.
mm-hmm.
But I remember if you got too far behind, they were like looking and they did like if you got too off rhythm, they'd kick you
Yeah,
out.
they pull you up, yeah.
And I got kicked out around like top 10 or whatever. And I was just like, fuck, man. Like I wanted to keep going, but I
It
also
was
like, but yeah. And then afterwards, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Like we're done. And then he was like, we got to go run or whatever. I'm like, there's no fucking way you're doing this to us right now. There's no
they
way.
literally killed us.
Yeah.
Like we had to have been the most conditioned team.
We only had like 20 people.
I know, and then we ran triple option, no huddle.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
What? And then we
Yeah.
all played everything. We played offense,
Yeah.
defense, kickoff, punt. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, if we just had a second team,
Not
just
even a
like fresh
second team,
guys to
just like
swap out, I feel like we could have won so many more games.
which was crazy because we made it to state. Like if we just had, oh man,
Do you
I don't
remember
like
when
to
we were
think about
driving
that.
out we were driving out to the game and they like kind of I guess the whole town kind of did like a send off. It was like out of
Yeah,
a movie.
yeah.
Yeah, like had signs that are parked on the
That shit
side of
was
the
pretty.
road. They're
That
like
shit was
cheering us
pretty
on.
cool. Yeah, yeah. I remember
That shit
that.
was
That was
cool.
funny.
Or the what was that other was I remember it was at home. They called it like the Mounting Miracle or whatever. I think it was against like
Oh,
Alaska,
the game
maybe
against
where it was
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, we need like one more touchdown.
crazy.
And
They
it, yeah,
bounced off
it
the
was like
fucking. They threw the ball to me. This was still back when like corners or like pass defenders in any like scenario, they had to turn their head to deflect the ball or it was pass interference, right? So this fucking guy who was guarding me, and I went up to catch it, and he jumps right in front of me and like puts his head right in front of my hands, but his like I'm like my hands are damn near on his face mask, and the ball bounces off the back of his head and then right into fucking I think it was Dylan Stansel's fucking
yeah,
arms, and then they threw a flag, and then fucking everyone kind of realized that Dylan caught it, and then we're like, oh fuck, we won, and then fucking the buzzer, that shit was crazy. That shit was funny.
bro. They remember everybody rushed to the field.
That's right, yeah.
Like everybody ran onto the dude.
Yeah, I
That
haven't
was like
thought
a
about
moment
that in so
kind of big.
fucking long. Holy shit.
Yeah,
I haven't thought about any of the things we've just been talking about in so fucking long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Man. We had a good
High
chat.
school.
We had a good chat.
Yeah, we did. It
We
was
had a good chat.
Yeah.
Man.
Bro, we've been going for like almost 2 hours. I just realized that.
Yeah, we have.
yeah,
I feel like we've been talking about some serious shit too.
yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
talking
I've been
about-
like going back and forth between like childhood stories and then like meaning of life. You
Yeah,
know?
like deeper thought things.
yeah, concussions.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one thing I want to bring up that I read the other day that I thought was fucking crazy. Again, this is like a deep brain thing, which is kind of fitting for this conversation. But so so when I say think about an apple, what pops in your head? Is it like the thought of an apple? Is it the word apple? Or is it like a picture image of an apple or like an apple tree? Or like what do you see when you think of the word apple?
Like a picture of an apple.
Picture an
Like a
apple?
red apple. Yeah.
I thought of like the thought of an apple. Not okay, not like Okay, yeah. Like when you said like, do you think of the thought of an apple? That's not like I'm thinking of myself thinking of it, right? It's just like thinking. I don't see the
Thinking
word
like,
apple, but like
mhm.
the word apple is in my head. But then like also like I thought of like a red apple, like looking at a
Okay,
red
okay,
apple.
okay, okay, dude. So another thing, when you're reading, right? Is there like a voice talking like when you're reading? Oh,